Let's see what we can get into. From Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell, Open Lines, 1995, August 22nd. Welcome to our Bell Subway Time. Between Coast to Coast AM, August 22nd, 1,100 miles east of Ontario, an unnamed tropical depression is formed east of the Western Antilles. Forecasters expect that depression to expand, possibly becoming a tropical storm named Iris by Wednesday. Another tropical depression is forming off the Anglo Mountains in the Bahamas. Forecasters say to have heavy rains on southern Florida. Now, I told you it was going to be a big subject. A lot of people told you the hurricane season was going to be fierce this year. And so far, they're right on the money. And it's just beginning. I mean, this is the opening chorus, folks. Go on. Well, I knew about this story yesterday, but I really didn't want to comment on it until today, because I wanted to be sure I had the details correctly, and they were a little unsure yesterday, but they're not unsure today. It began with a late-night traffic accident in Detroit, and it ended incredibly with a woman jumping to her death from a bridge over the Detroit River. While dozens, now get this, dozens of people stood by and hooted and hollered and cheered. Now, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, as I said, on a bridge over the Detroit River. Witnesses say they saw a 33-year-old young black lady, Aletha Word, drive her car into another car, in other words, an accident. The other car contained 3 young guys. Angry, one of them took a crowbar and smashed all of her windshields in. They dragged her from the car and ripped most of her clothes off during the scuffle. 30 to 40 people watched all of this and cheered and called for her, in fact, chanted for her to jump from the bridge. She did. Of all the people there, as many as 40, 2 of them, at this late stage, decided to try to save her, jumped in, tried, but she was dead. The driver of the car, 20-year-old man, has been charged with second-degree murder. Her mother's comment, the mother of the dead young girl, said, I wouldn't treat a dog that way. Even NBC yesterday said the story stands as more for what it says about our society. And what does it say? 30 or 40 people watched the attack on this young lady, watched the clothes ripped from her, watched her terrorized, and as they watched, cheered for her to jump. Now, I don't even know what to ask about this. In Detroit, there are 500 murders a year, give or take a few. I guess I would first ask, should they, the 30 or 40 people that chanted for her to jump and cheered when she did it, should they be charged with something? Now, you can't tell me. You can't tell me that this doesn't mean something profound and sad and hard to even discuss about our society. When have you ever heard of such a thing before? I don't know what to say about it. I'll let you say it. I wonder whether these 30 or 40 onlookers and cheerers ought to be charged with. I don't know what they'd be charged with. No. Inhuman behavior. I don't think that should be behind bars. Maybe it ought to. Maybe it doesn't matter anymore. Maybe the price of life has fallen faster than the American dollar, and there's just nothing we can do about it. It is the end. If not the end, then certainly the warning bells of the end. In Rwanda, some more bells chiming, same type. Remember the murder last year in Rwanda? The hundreds of thousands who died macheted to death. Then more than a million that fled Rwanda to Zaire. The thousands who died there now, guess what? Zaire has set the whole thing off again. They are kicking out the Rwandan refugees. In fact, they're doing it at gunpoint. The Zaire government is forcing hundreds of thousands of refugees to go home at gunpoint. They will simply no longer tolerate their presence in Zaire. A year ago, over 1 million crossed the border to escape the brutal civil war. The Zaire army, as it is pushing these poor refugees along, is in the process burning, beating, raping, looting, whipping. The United Nations has been told to not interfere. They are there. They are watching all of this go on, and they are supplying water when they can to the refugees. That is the totality, apparently, of the ability of the UN to do anything about anything. As usual, they're not able to accomplish a damn thing. Iraq. I thought so. Today, Defense Secretary Perry said, quote, "There is no evidence that Iraq is preparing to invade its neighbors." End quote. Well, that's pretty clean. No evidence Iraq is preparing to invade its. This story felt wrong to me. But we sent yet another, I believe, 1,300 troops just dispatched to Kuwait. Something is up. Something felt wrong with this story. What are we doing? Obviously, we're pushing Saddam and cooking a little bit of the But what's fed to the American press, and when I heard that story, it felt a little bit cult, and I told you so. O.J. Simpson. There was a threat yesterday by the judge to throw television out of the courtroom again. The judge thought the lawyers were playing with the cameras. Of course they are. There will be a ruling on the tapes, the incredible Furman tapes, next week. It's beginning to get dangerous. Racial tensions are growing. If cameras were pulled, would you cheer or cry? And with regard to the Furman tapes, isn't this process of slow leakage very, very dangerous immediately to Los Angeles and its environs? Again, Reuters, O.J. expert finds mystery prints. A forensic scientist has testified that he's found, get this, a second set of footprints at the scene where O.J. Simpson's ex-wife and her friend, Ron Goldman, were murdered. Dr. Henry Lee said the prints could not have been made by the shoes prosecutors said Simpson was wearing when he allegedly committed the murders. He also said the mystery prints could not have been made by Goldman's boots. He'll be back on the witness stand when they resume this debacle on Wednesday. And this comment, hi Art, love the show. By the way, this one will get you. As the wife of an ex-wife, I guess this is, of an LAPD officer, I can tell you my opinion of the whole O.J. Simpson, Mark Furman mess. I believe O.J. did it. And he will get off because of sloppy and or questionable work by LAPD, the coroner's office, crime lab, and prosecution. As for Furman, I know his racism was not only tolerated by the LAPD, but sponsored, fostered, and supported by it. Any officer who bucks the status quo won't be able to wear enough bulletproof vests. He or she will pay, most likely with his or her life. I can't hate or outright condemn my ex-husband or his fellow officers, because I've seen how each one goes to war every day, as long as they last. Imagine fighting in Vietnam or Kuwait for 20 years. Those who do make it to retirement have totally altered outlooks than those of us who lead civilian lives. And let us civilians not forget that there is a vast population out there that feels no compunction to abide by the same laws we automatically obey. We are perceived as holders of the goods they want, and the police are perceived as the enemy. I'm a civil servant too, but not expected to put my life on the line every day for everybody else. The officers are expected to do that. Even their most vocal critics expect total sacrifice on the part of the police, with just one 911 phone call, no matter what circumstances led to the call. What's the solution? I have no idea. I find it a pity, though, that Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman had to die like they did, bringing this mess to light. Now I bet O.J. gets his kids back. There's no justice here on earth. Maybe when O.J. meets his maker. In America, latest survey says 80% of American parents want their children to get a college education, but only 30% think they'll ever be able to afford it. Death in Texas. I said Texas, not Texas. That was an NBC story, and I'm trying to calculate my attitude about this. It is a story down there in Texas that you Texans can help out with. It involves a young model and an old, now dead billionaire. He was 89-year-old J. Howard Marshall. an oil tycoon worth an estimated $1 billion with a B, $1 billion. She is 26 years of age, a model, very good looking, an actress. She apparently had a 5-year courtship with our billionaire, an 11-month marriage, during which time she was given $1 million in jewelry, a $50,000 a month expense account, and after an 11-month marriage, he up and died. Now, apparently, the billionaire's son, by a previous marriage, somehow got hold of power of attorney and has cut her off. And so he now, I guess, controls the money. The attorneys are going back and forth on it. But I don't even care about any of that. Here's what I've got to say. It will sound sexist, and who cares? If I was a billionaire, and I was 89 years old, 89, mind you, and I wanted a 26-year-old, and she wanted me, let me put it this way. My attitude is, good on you, you know? I mean, if he wanted to go out and get himself a 26-year-old and court her and give her diamonds and all the rest of it, and marry her, and who knows, maybe better. Well, I'm more power to him, you know? I mean, it was his life, his money, and he had a right to do what he did. So that's my attitude when he gets back to the story. I mean, you know, it's his, he made all the money. And as far as I'm concerned, he's got a right to spend it the way he wants to spend it, and if it means he's going to spend it on a 26-year-old, 10 on a scale of 10, well, then more power to him, and I really don't have a problem with it. I know that relatives do. Dear Art, regarding the story that Noah's Ark may have been found atop Mount Ararat, first off, we've got to confirm it really is Noah's Ark. It would seem to be in the correct general vicinity. What else that is bigger than the Queen Mary and buried in a mountain in Israel could be there, actually in Turkey? If it is confirmed to be Noah's Ark, there would be sweeping changes in the religious community. A major part of the Bible and Christianity would be confirmed, scientific fact, so that would prove that Noah existed. That all the animals went 2 by 2 into the ark, and that there was a massive flooding that wiped out everything that was not on the ark. This would change a lot of people's opinions about a part of the Bible that some was pretty unbelievable. Just something to think about until we see if it really is the ark or not. And in a moment, I have from a friend in Missoula 40 ways that you can hasten the quickening and help destroy the earth. You're sure not going to want to miss these. Now, you will not hear all 40 because I considered about 4 or 5 of them to be not advisable to broadcast, but you will hear the remainder. Mike and Olivia, regarding the story up in Detroit, said, once again, we are tragically shown the necessity of the need to at least a 5-day waiting period for crowbars and federal legislation restricting automobile gas tanks to less than 10 gallons. And then this. It's just been a real joy lately, you know, fathers gluing their 5-year-old daughters' eyes shut with super glue, mothers in Chicago tossing children out of windows, children tossing children out of windows. Now the story in Detroit, the mother in South Carolina. And this, Art, added to your list of child killings. Supposedly, Saturday, at a local San Antonio mall, a 9-year-old boy from Colorado who was visiting for the past 2 weeks with his dad in San Antonio went into a restroom in the mall. He didn't return. According to his father, he searched for him, but found him missing. 15 hours later, on Sunday, the father finally reported the incident to the authorities. 15 hours, folks. The same day, Sunday, the poor child's body turned up in the river. Autopsy revealed the boy had succumbed to severe trauma to the stomach and chest area, and the child also showed signs of previous abuse. The father questioned extensively, but let go for lack of evidence. He was kept under surveillance. However, as the most likely suspect, the only suspect, they had. Tuesday, after making contact with the man's 27-year-old girlfriend who was in Tennessee, they apparently developed sufficient information to justify arresting the 35-year-old father. He was picked up without incident at his apartment and is now under a $5 million bond. Suzanne in San Antonio. So, I don't know how much more of this show I can read. It's becoming a daily now. I don't know if that's true, but I do know we'll be back in just a moment. You're listening to Art Bell, Somewhere in Time on Premier Radio Networks. Tonight, an encore presentation of Coast to Coast AM from August 22nd, 1995. Tonight featuring a replay of Coast to Coast AM from August 22nd, 1995. 5-year-old girls with their eyes glued shut by their fathers. What up, anyway? Mothers in Japan are throwing their children out the window. The woman in Detroit jumped out her way over the internet. People these days are constantly harping about the upcoming Armageddon. But when is the world going to finally end? Most people don't realize that it can't happen without their help. Below are a few little things you can do to help end the world. 1. Use motor oil to fertilize your lawn. Feed lead to pigeons. I won't number these. Vacation by your local polluted river. Serve chlorofluorocarbons as appetizers at your next party. Find the remaining woodland in your town and use it for kindling. Leave your car running all day. Drive to the bathroom. Spray your yard with DDT and not those other wimpy pesticides. Pour Agent Orange into your local reservoir to enhance the flavor. Wear only polyester, never more than once. Become a megalomaniac and gain control of vast nuclear stockpiles. Use them. Dump your food leftovers into the recycling bin. Keep the bubonic plague virus around as a lovable, low-maintenance pet. Use at least 3 gallons of water for each tooth when brushing. Create an oil slick in your backyard for fun science experiments for the kids. Have 37 children, name them all Bill. Strangle a bald eagle. Spread styrofoam balls all over your lawn for winter fun all year round. Email Al Gore petitioning to test nuclear arms above ground in major cities. Offer free cigarettes, alcohol, and drugs to all pregnant mothers. Own at least 43 television sets per person, per household. Watch them all at once. Build a simple coal-burning power plant in your basement. Remove your catalytic converter and muffler. They just ruin the fun anyway. Aim X-ray machines at unsuspecting patients in the dentist's office. Sunscreen? It's for wimps. Carve holes in the ozone layer. They make great gifts. Drive an M1A1 Abrams tank to work. Develop condominium complex in beautiful Chernobyl. Develop a secret neurotoxin that makes females pregnant. Oh, I can't say that. There's one I missed. Buy something you don't need every day, 3 times a day. Dump it on the freeway. Work for the government. Aerosol hairspray can be used for a lot more than personal grooming. Putting up posters, cooking lubricant, antiperspirant, ant and roach killer, personal defense, and party favors. Burn your own garbage for fun and profit. And finally, enclose dead relatives in lucite blocks. We hope these simple ideas will inspire you to create your own methods to drag the planet further into its own grave. Remember, every person counts. So, it's come to this. So, I think I'll open the lines, and with that as the setup, given only knows where it's headed. Here we go. East of the Rockies is 1-800-825-5033. 1-825-5033. I have several appearances scheduled in the next several days. Maybe in the morning, tomorrow morning, I will be on KCMO in Kansas City. About from around 9:30 Kansas City time. And I have an appearance somewhere in Ohio. I'll look at that one for you. On Friday, I think I'm doing a morning show for KFYI in Phoenix, in Pennsylvania. So it's going to be a very busy week depending on where you are. You might listen for my now. You bear in mind that by 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, it's beginning to get to be late evening for me. So even more than usual, I'm on say about the evening. Well, I'll play while you're on here. Hello. I'm leaving this tomorrow. I was only thinking about your work on Saturday. One comment on the Reynolds condition. Oh, come on. And that's big news, of course. Well, one of the big jokes or something I was told years ago was the people who are the most vehemently anti-gun are really the biggest crooks on earth. And they started to use gun control as a smokescreen to mask their own illegal activities. What do you think of that? I'm trying to think of how it is you're connecting that to the conviction. Well, just look at some of the most vehemently anti-gun people in the past. Yeah, what I'm saying is, what is Reynolds' conviction after the guns? Well, it seems that people that are themselves very immoral and engage in immoral activity sort of pull on the gun control thing as a smokescreen to cover their own types of activities. Why didn't you just start off on gun control? The two have nothing to do with each other. Well, I mean, gun control is what you want to talk about. No Reynolds is one of the most vehement anti-gun people out there. I'm just saying that in the history of Congress, if you look at Biagi, he was a gun controller, he was later convicted, and Tom Brown and the other was put out of Congress. This story a correlation between some of the people that are vehemently gun control are, in a sense, some of the biggest criminals themselves. Yeah, all right. Well, all right, I'll take that. It is true that it seems like people who preach constantly about morality are frequently themselves then the target of or convicted of something rather immoral. I mean, go back and remember all the troubles with television industries and all the rest of it. These guys who preach and preach and preach. I'm going to tell you, there's been a couple of instances in my own life. Naturally, I'm not going to name anybody, but I mean, people have been real preachy, you know. You got to follow God's way, you know, saying, and it's almost annoying to be preached to the way some of them do. Very high and mighty on morals. I'll tell you, some of these people, and this is the truth, I don't care whether you believe it or not, have turned out to be thieves, cokeheads, middle class. I mean, it is the most, and I was the one who got preached to. I got preached to by these lowlifes. Turned out to be lowlifes. And you want to hear something even weirder? After they were caught stealing and more, they kept on preaching. You know, preaching to me. I actually slipped my top at a situation a few years ago, which I won't go into, but and it's not necessary that I do. I'm sure you take my meaning. So from that, in that spirit, I understand exactly what you were saying, sir. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Oh, well, good. Turn the radio off. I got it off. That's good. Calling. Oh, from Memphis. Glad to have you, sir. Well, we almost didn't have you. We started off with a talk. That was music format on this conversation. Well, somebody threw the wrong switch or something. I got all the news that we'll look into it. How long was the top 40 on? About the first 10 minutes of your show. 10 minutes, huh? I got you WII. Well, we live in the electronic age. Right. I just don't want to say that I wasn't prepared to get through this early. Well, when you're dialing over there, then you should imagine you might get through. Yeah. Positive thinking got through. You were talking about people, religious people, pointing fingers. Well, I work with a postal service. I see a lot of the religious traffic come through, and one of the things I noticed is whether they talk about themselves or their beliefs, or whether they spend a lot of time putting down the other beliefs. Like Jimmy Swagger pointing his finger at Jimmy and Tammy Baker, and then a few months later saying, I didn't see him. Yeah, I know. Look, sir, thank you. I take it right down to my personal life. I told you. There's a couple people, maybe even 3 in my life that have been that way. I mean, you almost can't be around them because they're so damn preachy about morality. And I'll be damned if they're not the ones who turned out to be thieves, dirty dealers, totally screwing over their neighbor and their business associates every opportunity they got. In other words, the lowest of the low, the preachiest of the people I've ever known. It's there are a lot of people, and I don't mean to disparage them, who are quietly moral and quietly ethical, and I applaud them. But I'm telling you, look out for the ones that make a lot of noise. At least that is my personal experience. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. I'm from California, aren't you? Okay. It is, yes. And your telephone is still no better than it was 2 years ago. Well, I don't have my real phone. It's a real phone, but it's anyway. I just wanted to say that Chuck Harding had a David Freeman on down at the Culture Hotel doing a seminar for the next 2 days about Roswell and so forth. Oh, yes. And I was hoping you could get one your show because sometimes not many times. Yeah, well, it's good to have on again. Yeah, well, let's shut up for a while. Okay, anyway, about the story of Troy, I was absolutely flabbergasted when I heard about it yesterday, and I don't know what to say except I think that. Well, would you think people who cheered this on should somehow face some legal penalty? Well, I don't know what to be charging with, Art, because it's like. They were almost carrying on the river. I mean, they according to the Exodus account, even though that's pretty up to date, one of the accounts had the woman hanging on the railing for dear life, and the attacker was beating her on the fingers of the crow because she had bill and dropped into the river. That was the other account, which I was a more killing account, and I just that was probably what happened. I carried across the line like that. One bystander tried to get someone with a cell phone and call 911 and they refused. What is going on? Sir? Yeah. What do you do when you're constantly throwing conspiracy theories up against the wall and they won't stick? You chuck harder. Oh, well, yeah. I'm part of that. Have a good morning, sir. Wildcard Line, you're on the air. Hello? Unbelievable. Really? Well, there you are. It rang, and I'm probably only read out 12, 13 times. Well, it's kind of like a lottery. This is Mark in Albany, Georgia. Hi, Mark. You have talked a lot lately about child abuse, and I think that's a very important subject for today. One thing that I haven't heard mentioned on the Indie Talk show, and I listened to an awful lot of during the day, is circumcision. And I'd like to know your feelings about that and hear some callers and what they think about the amputation of a body part on infant male, without their approval. What do you think about what you call? Think about it. Well, I don't know if I care. In other words, a lot of people consider it a medical procedure that is performed for cleanliness throughout life, and I don't think it constitutes abuse. So I don't, from an abuse point of view, my answer would be I don't think I care. It's up to the parents, huh? Well, I just think, I would disagree with that. I just think that amputation of a body part should be a it's not amputation. Amputation is when you actually remove a member. That is not what occurs, sir, you know. Well, all right, well, I thank you for the call, but I don't follow your abuse charge, and I don't think it's a big, important, or even a very tasteful issue. I think it's up to the parents. That's what I think. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello. Good morning, Art. Hello. Hey, I was listening to you the other night, and a gentleman called and asked you if you believe that aliens had anything to do with our evolution. And you commented that. I said I don't know. Well, I was just wondering if you believe, in your personal opinion, if they've had in the past, far past, they've had any manipulation on our progress. You said a lot of me. I said, I don't know. I meant, I don't know. I have no proof of it. I have people who come on and talk to me, all kinds of guests with all kinds of credentials who say all kinds of things. Now, if you can help me out here, sir, do you have proof? Well, I don't have, tangible proof, but I've been doing a lot of reading, about mining calendars that go 400 million years into the future. They have astronomical maps. They have, and we got the Bible too. Yeah, well, they also calculate thousands of years ago the rotation of the moon, which today, if they calculate it, they differ by 24 seconds. I've got books that can convince you about anything if you want to read it. But, until I can put my hand on it, until I see scientific proof one way or the other, my answer remains, I don't know. Okay, can I ask you one other question? Sure. I heard the story about how people believe that they may have found Noah's Ark on Mount Ararat. Yeah, oh yes. Okay, now, did I hear you correctly when you said that satellites found it like in 1947 or 48? No, I said there was an earthquake on the very day of the creation of the nation of Israel in 48, and that then later they found the Ark through satellite imagery years later. Do you know how long they've seen or have known about it? No, I really don't. Not that many years. And they are going on a dig, and we'll know soon. And can you imagine if it is Noah's Ark? Oh, you're on here. Oh, hi. Let me tell you, Yes, it's a wonderful program. I enjoy you so much. Thank you. I'm from Texas. I can almost tell. Oh, really? That much? Okay, on the divorce in the state of Texas is a community property state. Right. But anything that he had before he married her, she's not entitled to. Only money is gained after they were married. Bearing in mind, he's a billionaire, was a billionaire, that can still be wrong. Imagine the money that's been, that's in interest, in investment that has gained since he's been married to her. But she is entitled to half of that. Where are you in Texas? I'm in San Antonio. Well, tell me something. I've got a big secret to tell the people in San Antonio coming up here shortly. Okay. But listen, what do you say about what he did? I say that was his choice. He knew what he was doing. He was certainly not a slow man, or he wouldn't have been a billionaire. He knew what he wanted. That's right. And I'm sure that he got a lot of satisfaction out of just being with her. Well, that part we may never know about, but I mean... Well, I don't necessarily mean being around her. That's right. I mean, my attitude is more power to him, and frankly, at 89 with $1 billion, I might do it myself. Yes. On that note, I'm going to have to go listen to the surprise. We'll be right back. You're listening to our bill somewhere in time. It might be showing a replay of Coast to Coast AM from August 22nd, 1995. One message to her, what would it be? I already had a couple of answers, but facts. Here's brief. If I'm living in a parallel universe and have been observing Earth transmissions for years, you can only send one message to this planet. It would have to be something considered after long hours of thought and observation. That's what I said. The minnow was only on a 3-hour tour. Where did Ginger get all those dresses? And this top secret message from Sister Solar System. Send more episodes of Greenland. Signed Gecko, Goleta Cow. Well, alright. To once again announce the good people at WOAI, the monster in San Antonio, are going to begin running Dreamland this Sunday, and we've got several other joins, and Dreamland now sits at 139 affiliates, maybe 140 by week's end or more. Amazing. There are 4, maybe no less than 5 would-be hurricanes out in the Atlantic right now. Very serious ones, most of them in the process of strengthening. And you attribute that to whatever you want. Maybe it began in Detroit with a traffic accident, ended with a young woman, terrified, jumping off the bridge to her death. While dozens of people, as many as 40, stood by and cheered and watched and chanted for her to jump. About 3 a.m. Saturday, witnesses say they saw 33-year-old Aletha Word drive her car into another car. It was an accident. That car containing 3 young men. Angry, one of them jumped out of the car, took a tire iron, smashed her windows, dragged her from the car, ripped her clothing off. During this, the crowd is loving it, right? 30 or 40 people watched, cheered, and finally she did it out of absolute fear, jumped off the bridge. She's dead. To their everlasting credit, at least 2 people did try to save her after the fact. The driver of the car 20 has been charged with second-degree murder. The mother of the dead girl said, "I wouldn't treat a dog that way." Even NBC yesterday, mystified at the story, said it really stands more. I mean, there's 500 murders in Detroit every year. But they said it stands as a comment on society. What our society has become, you tell me. I was wondering if the people involved in that should be charged with something. You know, the ones that were chanting for her to jump off the bridge. There's really nothing to charge them with legally. But I got facts here. Is that all right? How about conduct unbecoming a human? I'd really like to know what those 40 people are feeling right now. 82% of the American people say they want their children to go to a college, but 30% think, only 30% rather, think they can afford to send their children to college. Then there is the death in Texas story, not taxes, Texas. The young model and the old billionaire. This is an 89-year-old guy dead now, J. Howard Marshall, an oil tycoon down in Texas, worth, they said, about $1 billion. 89 years old. At 89, he married a 26-year-old, easy 10, I mean, beautiful woman, just beautiful. Beautiful model actress. There was a 5-year courtship, an 11-month marriage, $1 million given to her in jewelry, $50,000 a month in expenses, and now, of course, everybody in the family is going to fight. I guess his son, by previous marriage, power of attorneys, cut her off, and there'll be a big fight and probably a settlement. But you know, when I think about this story, I think the 89-year-old guy with $1 billion, you know, maybe in his 88th year, he decided, what the hell? Let's have some fun. I've got $1 billion. I want a 26-year-old. And maybe it was true love, and maybe it was for money, and, I don't know that I care. It was his money. He did what he wanted to do with it. If it had part of the, and I'm sure some of the enticement was the money. So what? So what? He says. The guy did what he wanted to do, and it's his life and his money. That's my attitude. Then people started sending me stories of more child tragedies, to make my day. 9-year-old boy in Portland killing his 5-year-old sister with daddy's hunting rifle. First they thought it was accidental, now police have charged the boy with murder. Another case in southern Washington about the same time where 2 young children got the parents' Magnum out a 357 playing Nintendo, and fight one shot the other with the 357. And I've got more, but I don't want to read them. It's like I've had it. If this is not the quickening, the one we had the other day, the 5-year-old little girl who had her eyes glued shut by daddy with silver glue, that was nice. The mother who threw her baby out of the window in Chicago. The woman in Detroit that I just told you about, the mother in South Carolina. And so somebody sent me this, which I will now reread on the internet. It's very cynical, but here's how it reads. Comes from the Zoo Montana, by the way. Entitled 40 Ways, and I'm not reading all 40, you can help destroy the earth and hurry the quickening. People these days are constantly harping about the upcoming Armageddon. But when is the world finally going to end? Most people don't realize it can't happen without their help. Below are a few things that you can do to help end the world. Use motor oil to fertilize your lawn. Feed lead pigeons. Vacation by your local polluted river. Serve chlorofluorocarbons as appetizers at your next party. Find the remaining woodland in your town and use it for kindling. Leave your car running all day. Drive to the bathroom. Spray your yard with DDT and not those other windy pesticides. Pour Agent Orange from the local reservoirs to enhance flavor. Wear only polyester, never more than once. Become a megalomaniac and gain control of vast nuclear stockpiles. Use them. Dump your food leftovers into the recycling bin. Keep the bubonic plague virus around as a lovable, low-maintenance pet. Use at least 3 gallons of water for each tooth when brushing. Create an oil slick in your very own backyard for fun science experiments for the kids. Have 37 children. Name them all Bill. Strangle a bald eagle. Spread styrofoam balls all over your lawn for winter fun all year round. Email Al Gore petitioning to test nuclear arms above ground in major cities. Offer free cigarettes, alcohol, and drugs to all pregnant mothers. Own at least 43 television sets per person per household, and watch them all at once. Build a simple coal-burning power plant in your basement. Remove your catalytic converter and muffler, they simply ruin the fun. Aim X-ray machines at unsuspecting patients in dentists' offices. Sunscreen, it's for wimps. Carve holes in the ozone layer, they make great gifts. Drive an M1A1 Abrams tank to work. Develop condominium complexes in beautiful Chernobyl. Develop a secret neurotoxin that makes females pregnant. I can't read that one. I should have crossed that out. Work for the government. All right, in this, aerosol hairspray can be used for a lot more than personal grooming. Putting up posters, cooking lubricant, antiperspirant, and roach killer, personal defense, and party favors. Burn your own garbage for fun and profit. and encase dead relatives in lucite blocks. We hope these simple ideas will inspire you to create your own methods to drag this planet further into its grave. Remember, every person counts. Then you have to wonder what the other star system is going to say when it begins to get... Now, they're probably still seeing Lucy, right? But eventually, they are going to begin getting the O.J. Simpson trial, which continues later today, unless they decide that it shall not be so, and that could happen. The judge threatened to take it off TV yesterday, saying the participants, the attorneys, were playing to the cameras. Gee, I haven't detected that. How about you guys? Playing to the cameras? What a charge. Anyway, the ruling next week on the Furman tapes is going to be made. Now, I don't know whether I believe this one or not. I think not, but it's entitled New Spin for Needle, and it shows a picture of the Seattle Space Needle from the air, looking down on top of it. And it says the top of Seattle Space Needle is painted to resemble the spinning wheel from the television game show Wheel of Fortune. The new look is intended to promote the show, which will be taping in Seattle. Now, is that a true or false story? And they actually show a picture of the Space Needle here, but you can't trust photographs anymore. Have you guys really done that? Is the Space Needle really painted to look like the Wheel of Fortune? If you can't say it ain't so. And I'm getting all kinds of faxes like this. Here, right. Having been a citizen of this planet for a sizable length of time, it amazes me how a species could be so intelligent yet so narrow-minded with regard to visitors from other planets. Most Earthlings, including yourself, assume that for interstellar travel, the aliens must be of superior intelligence. It's not possible that although more advanced in travel techniques, they might be far behind in other areas of knowledge. For instance, you are by far the best late-night talk show host, but might not have the intelligence to become a great politician or a psychiatrist. Just a little late-night snack to ponder on. Keep up the good work. Well, number one, I'm smart enough to know that. I don't want to be a psychiatrist, and I certainly don't want to be a politician, and I'm very pleased doing what I'm doing. There is the Peter Principle, and I do not want to ascend to it. And that is that somebody will eventually be promoted beyond their level of competence to a job for which they are not suited, fitted, nor competent. I have no illusions about wanting some greater position. I enjoy doing precisely what I'm doing. Wouldn't change it for the world, and have thought not to, as a matter of fact. West of the Rockies, you're on the air.
No, Art, no.
That's true.
Okay, you're probably not gonna like what I have to say to you.
Well, this happens all the time.
Okay, I hope you don't hang up. I hope you don't hang up on me.
Well, I might.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
Okay. I think you're copping out.
On what?
On the UFO thing. UFO.
Oh, really? See, now here it was. Somebody called and said, do you believe or not believe? And am I correct?
That's true.
And my answer was, I don't know. And that remains my answer. And it's not a cop-out. It's the truth. Do I believe that they're here? I have no idea.
Did you not see a UFO yourself?
Yes.
Then what's the big deal? What's going on?
Well, I don't know where it came from.
You have listeners
Wait,
out there.
just one momento.
Okay.
I saw it, and I described it in very precise detail.
Right.
But for all I know, it came from Area 51 over the hill here. I have no way of knowing that it came from another star system or dimension. Or I don't know.
But you try to explain it. Now, how would you like it if everybody just said to you, I don't believe it? How would you like that?
Well, a lot of people have said that.
What's the heart?
A lot of people have said that.
Yeah, but you're really cutting people down all of a sudden.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. No, sir. I was asked a question and I gave an honest answer.
I'd say the last couple of weeks, you have really calmed down the people. Okay, what about the Roswell incident? You were so up on those pictures. It was unbelievable.
Wait a minute. Okay, go ahead. No, that's not true now. I said now, I will say now what I said then, and that is, it is either the real thing or it is the most elaborate, best-done hoax ever. And that's still what I think today. Do I know for sure it's real? No. Have I ever said during this whole thing that I know for sure it's real? No.
But you cut people down.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No,
Okay, I must ask your audience out.
How does that cut people down? Give them an honest answer.
No, you have a way about you to where you put bad feelings to people. They want to explain something to you, and you're really negative about it. In fact,
like what?
Just negative.
Like what? If it is negative, thanks for the call, brother. But if it is negative to give you an honest answer, then by all means, you go right on ahead and regard me as negative. And I don't give absolute affirmative answers. You will learn as you listen to things that I cannot lay my hand on or scientifically prove. I have a hell of a lot of interests in areas like UFOs, life after death, mysteries that we cannot answer. I will continue to investigate them avidly. But the question was, do I believe as an article of faith that we are being visited? And my honest answer is, I don't know. And if you regard that as negative, then I don't care. I don't care. It's an honest answer. There are a lot of things in this life that I do not know and will not accept as an article of faith. It's kind of like religion. People call me up, Art, this moment, accept the Lord. Do you accept the Lord? Do you accept everything about the Bible? And there are a lot of things that I don't have answers to. And so I'm not going to jack you around. If you come out and ask me a question like, do you believe they are here? I mean, can you absolutely say they are here? Will you say that? No, I won't. Sorry. East of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Hi, Art, Libertarian Nationalist, Gore, Colorado.
Hey.
How you doing?
Well, you're listening.
All right. Well, yeah, actually, this heard the opening of your show and wondered if you'd had much conversation regarding the woman from Detroit.
A lot of it, yes.
I would think that the people who were standing by and cheering and chanting for her to jump could be charged as accessories.
I don't think legally. Morally, yeah.
If they were actually encouraging her attackers to do what they were doing.
Look, I've told a few of my callers to go jump in the lake. If one of them did it, does that mean I'm accessories on them?
Well, Art, I'll tell you what, legal standing these days, Media Bypass Magazine, the August issue.
Yeah, I know.
Said that
call us toll free at 1-800-618-8255. I think so.
They said that in Frank's home state of Massachusetts, that Arby actually could have been charged with some kind of hate speech.
Oh, that's exactly correct. I think it is correct, yes.
So if somebody could be charged for calling somebody else's name, I would certainly think that people who are urging three thugs to attack a woman and then to urge her to jump off a bridge, knowing what state of mind the woman must have been in, could certainly face some sort
of... Faxer, I think, had it a little bit earlier. Maybe they ought to be charged with conduct unbecoming a human, but I think there's really no legal charge they can lay on somebody. But, look, the story stands, NBC finally had it right. It stands as a comment on the state of humanity. It stands as an indictment of modern society. We'll be right back.
Somewhere in time on Premier Radio Networks. Tonight an encore presentation of Coast to Coast AM from August 22nd, 1995.
Mike Big Show Kid.
Hi, Mike.
Well, I heard more of that news about killings and dudes killing each other. I'd like to share some good news tonight for you.
All right.
I had a friend on this last night at 23 minutes after 5. When I had the birth of my daughter.
Is the most remarkable thing that a human being, I believe, sees while you're alive.
Yeah, it is.
I witnessed the birth of my son as well. And it's there's nothing to compare to it, is there?
No, there isn't actually. And there's nobody can tell you what it's like, and nobody can prepare you for what's there to come. I decided to spread some good news. One question I'd like to ask you though,
Sure.
coming from a father, what advice, not just general societal advice, but your personal advice, would you give to a new father?
Good question. Let me think about it and listen on the air, all right?
All right. Oh, one more thing, Art. About the aliens and that guy was talking about that dual star system.
Oh, yes.
Who's to say that we're not picking up transmissions from their television shows?
Well, looking at daytime TV, it's possible.
That's just one thought to ponder.
Thank you, sir. Maybe the whole OJ trial is not of this earth. Advice to a new father. No, I don't have any. I really don't have any. I'm no Dr. Spock. Maybe closer to the one with the pointed ears than the one that used to tell you how to raise children. I don't have any advice. Except follow your heart. That's all you can do. So I'm sorry, I hope that doesn't disappoint you. I really don't have any advice. Somebody writes to me and says, I live with this Seattle Space Needle only a half mile from my front window. It has not been made to look like a little fortune. At night, the Space Needle looks like, just like the flying saucer in the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Boy, it does. It's incredible. But how would you know unless your house is higher than the Space Needle? How could you see what's on top? Now, I don't know who sent this to me. I think it was just a joke. I'm hoping that's true. But it's actually, just like the Wheel of Fortune. They wouldn't do that, though. They just wouldn't do that. The Space Needle is too sacred. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello. Please play me back to me. I don't want to do that. Hi, Wildcard Line, you're on the air.
Charlie, liberal in California. 2 points. The first thing is that, what happened to this lady on the bridge, and certainly people were laughing at her and egging these guys on, that's one thing. But, I've listened to several talk shows, there's been people calling and saying they would have intervened. There's a way between being a hero and being a stupid idiot. Anybody that would confront 2 armed guys, one weighs 300 pounds with a crowbar is an idiot. And so
but see, that's not the argument. Only an idiot would try to turn that into the argument. The question was not whether or not people were intervening or should have intervened or should have taken the chance to intervene. The question in the comment and the social problem is people cheering it on, even chanting for her to jump.
Well, I understand the problem there, but as far as intervening...
You understand the problem there? Well, okay, that is the problem. So what is your comment on that?
Well, we had that problem. Let me tell you something. This is my second comment. I honestly think that people who think society is going downhill, yeah, there's problems, but these people who say they're quickening, because
they're all wet, huh?
Well, let's put it this way. Human society is not admitting him. There are 2 things that can take society out. A full-scale nuclear war and a comet or a meteorite or something like that. Both those things are extremely unlikely. As far as environmental problems, yeah, they're going to be a problem. They're going to be a serious problem into the next century. But there's nothing imminent that can take human beings out. human society is going to be around for the next 100 years, probably. Now, whether society deteriorates and we live in a Mad Max type of society, that's possible.
You said 100 years. That's not very long.
Well, it's not very long. But people would say that if people have human existence and on the brink of being gone, I think they're out of line in saying that. I think human beings are going to be around for a while.
Well, maybe they will. But maybe if they are, it will turn into your Mad Max scenario.
Well, yeah, it could go in that direction, but it could go in another direction. Who knows? But I don't.
Well, is a person reasonably able to look at current events and discern a trend?
Well, yeah, you can discern the trend that society is deteriorating. But you can't discern the trend, which I think when you talk about the quickening, I think you're talking about, and excuse me if I'm wrong, I think you're talking about human extinction. But I don't think that is something that's imminent. It's something that's
No, I'm not. Actually, you're wrong. I'm not talking about it. As a matter of fact, I'm not ascribing, Charlie, and I really mean this. I'm not ascribing anything to it. I'm not saying it's biblical. I'm not saying it's religious. I'm not saying it's Armageddon. I'm not saying anything. I'm simply giving you an observation from having done this talk show for as long as I've done it. And I think it is an accurate observation.
Well, I think it's an observation, but I think the clarity there, because I think most of the people who call into your talk show and talk about the end of the earth, they're talking about human extinction. They're not talking about society deteriorating. They're talking about humans being gone. And I think those people who say that are wrong. Now, as far as there being violence in the streets, riots, disorder, in a totally different society in a few years, yeah, it's possible. But I think it could go either way right now. I think we're right on the brink of going either way, and I think that's going to depend on a lot of factors.
If it did turn into a Mad Max kind of world, Charlie, what would you do?
What would I do? Mm-hmm. I don't know. It depends on. I'd certainly. Let's put it this way: if it came down to either protecting civilization or protecting myself, I'm going to protect myself. And you have a lot of people call. If there's some type of imminent danger, you'll have people calling in saying how civilized they'd be. Let me tell you something.
Would you use that service revolver? You're always calling for gun control, and you tell me you carry a gun, right?
Yeah.
Part of your job. So would you use that?
Yeah, and actually, if society completely deteriorated, I'd have no problem with everybody having weapons. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened. I mean, not unfortunately, but that hasn't happened yet. So I don't think there's no need to. But no, I'd have no problem with everybody carrying a weapon if we lived in a Mad Max society.
But according to your world, you're trying to get the guns away from people. So if it did turn into that, they wouldn't have guns.
Yeah, but I think
people like you would be the Mad Maxes.
Yeah, that's something to think about, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Good morning. East of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Yes, sir.
Turn your radio off, please.
Got it up. There's an autopsy, autopsy photos.
Yes.
Over the weekend, it was interesting. The BBC Science in Action mentioned them.
Yes, sir.
So did Deutsche Welle. They both tried to twist it around without actually saying they were untrue, but gave strong implications by going to outside experts, alleged experts. One fellow had to do with human physiology, who claimed that 1 out of 2,000 Europeans had 6 fingers. And
they do not.
Well, that's what the Deutsche Welle had. Now the BBC let it in.
Well, okay, then end of the credibility on that one. Next one.
The BBC, what it is, interviewed taxi cab drivers and got their reaction. And then a psychiatrist said that people take great interest in these things.
Oh my God, there's another one now. Taxi cab drivers in London, was it?
Yeah, the BBC Science in Action was interesting. Within an hour, switching the station, it was quarter to midnight on Saturday night, Central Time. They're still stand up with that Deutsche Welle. It is part of their world.
Well, it's not a lot of gardening shows, and they spend a lot of time on gardening on the BBC. All right, sir, thank you very much for the call. Well, there's a meaningful scientific survey. The Roswell autopsy film, real or fake? The following reports compiled from a survey of London taxi cab drivers. Real hard evidence. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Yes, this is Jim calling from Portland.
Hi, Jim.
You have some proof that aliens are tampering with human evolution?
Well, I said there is none. Now, are you going to prove me wrong?
Yes, well, there was an article in this month's Scientific American. And that was about an asteroid that hit the Earth, a very large one, that hit the Earth only 2 million years ago.
So how does that prove alien intervention?
Well, they estimate that 10% of the Earth's crust was blasted up into the atmosphere.
Yeah, so?
Now, that is probably a larger asteroid than the one that killed the dinosaurs.
Okay.
So
what?
Now, there was no major extinction 2 million years ago of animal species on the planet. So why the difference?
I don't see, I don't see how the asteroid or comet or anything else that's plowed into Mother Earth proves alien intervention. Now, maybe I've missed something.
Yeah. The asteroid that killed the dinosaurs 65 million years ago was a large asteroid. This one's probably larger, but there were no major extinctions after this.
Well, maybe there was no major life.
2 million years ago?
Well, they say there was, but I mean, who knows? Sir, I don't see, you started out the conversation by saying you don't believe, and so here's the proof. What's it proof of?
It's proof that the aliens operated differently 2 million years ago. Instead of, they replaced all the major species after they exterminated all life on Earth, as opposed to what they did 65 million years ago. They did not replace the dinosaurs.
All right, sir, I'm converted. Thanks for the call. And how is that supposed to prove anything? I'm very interested, of course, as you know, in looking toward trying to get proof of something, but a call like that discourages me. I mean, first of all, I don't know about what has or hasn't plowed into the Earth, but I fail to see how aliens have anything to do with it. On the other hand, listen to this story from the Herald News. Area farmers who have been swathing and baling hay in the early morning hours have had their long and tedious tasks enlivened considerably in recent weeks. Farmers from Bonanza to Klamath Falls have reported seeing unidentified flying objects overhead as they work. One rancher reportedly cited a cylindrical object he said was the size of a football field. There have been 10 reports in the area since the early morning hours of July 31st. Now, that too proves nothing, but it is very interesting. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Yes, this is Shiloh from LA, Washington.
I'm a cat named Shadow.
Shiloh.
Oh, Shiloh.
Yeah, I'd like to...
Too bad. I was about to be partial to you, but... Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. The person that said that the Space Needle wasn't painted to like the wheel was wrong.
Oh, no. Now, do you know that for sure?
Yeah, it was on the local news.
They painted the top of it to look like the Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, it was all the different colors.
It can't be true. It can't be true. I don't believe it. You saw it on TV?
Yeah, I mean, Seattle News.
How do you think the people of Seattle feel about that?
I have no idea, but I don't think
I'm going to find out. Are you sure it's true? Do you swear on your TV guide it's true?
I saw it on the news on the TV guide.
Well, I know, but you swear on your TV guide, put your hand on the guide.
Yeah, but I don't think it would be easier to just put this tarp over it than to paint it. Another question.
Yes?
Like, the comet?
The comet, yes.
Say it was a spaceship.
Say it was.
And it was on an exodus to the nearest livable planet because their planet died. And they got in contact with the military here. Would you think they would shoot it out or let them come on the planet?
Well, let me put it to this. Do you remember the Star Trek with the probe?
Is that Star Trek 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one with the probe? If it is not a big rock, a snowball rock comet, then it's a probe. Just like the one in Star Trek.
Okay.
All right? Feed the whales.
Yeah.
See you later, sir. Wildcard Line, you're on the air. Good morning.
I get a question first. Your first time caller line?
Yes.
How do you know someone's a first time caller when they call on it?
Well, because I have a really cool memory for voices. Now, occasionally somebody might fool me, but if I catch them fooling me, I bar them for life. Okay. And, I do. They might get me once, twice, and then I nail them, and then that's it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm calling to Coco.
Yes.
Kalejo.
Right.
And you're talking about the person that was jumping off the bridge. They had a couple incidents here where that happened.
Yes.
And the main head fellow who was on the radio every day, who hired at the station, he was very in favor of the person jumping to use the traffic. He was very cool about it. He called himself insensitive. And that's what he was doing. He was saying he wants the person to jump just to clear the traffic. And they don't have the right to do it. And I disagree with that. But anyway.
I find that hard to believe.
No, that's what he said. Yeah, he was very in favor of it, in favor of this person jumping just to clear the traffic. He said they had no right to stop him.
I refuse to believe somebody would seriously say that.
Oh, he's serious. He also criticizes you for your belief in UFOs, etc.
I'm used to that. If I was a doll and, people were sticking pins in me, you wouldn't be able to see my face for all the pins. So that's all right.
Yeah. And then earlier you were talking about religious people who are always they're always pushing their morals or even standing on street corners preaching.
No, those are not the people I was criticizing. What I said was, I referred, of course, to the evangelicals, Campbells that we have, but then I referred to people in my own life, people that I know that are just preachy as hell, and I mean really preachy, about morality, little tiny sticky points of morality, preaching to me about, am I doing this, am I doing that? And these people turned out to be thieves, cheaters, the very worst sorts of people you can imagine. And even after all of that was revealed, they still go on preaching.
Yeah. I myself personally like to pray to Jesus if I want to, but I have a T-shirt that I wear that says, "Jesus, protect me from your followers."
Well, you know that is honor.
And it hits home. But also, we had a UFO investigations T-shirt too that I got at a conference where I met Bob Eckler.
Yes.
And I received some discrimination on that because I was in a gay rights parade marching with some friends and families, a straight contingent in the parade. And one of the fathers who was with the church there said, "Would you welcome gay aliens into it?" And he said, "No, we'll stick with humans."
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, what happens, if we find out that there are aliens here, only they are, as a norm, homosexual. But that is to say they are of one gender and reproduce in that manner. I mean, it's entirely possible. Two questions then. A, would we reject them and go to war immediately with them? And would we allow them to march in birth parades? I get criticized all the time, because because I allow anybody to talk about anything here on the air, and whether that includes aliens or whatever else it is we happen to be talking about. And if you've been listening for a while now, it's anything on any given night. So who cares? I mean, life's too short. I'm 50 years old, and I'm bound and determined to do this program the way I want to do it, which is to have it be an open forum, which is to have on-screen calls. And if some of these heroes out there who are criticizing me would like perhaps to try for a few hours to do what it is that I do and take on-screen calls, then after that experience, after they have tasted the unexpected, the unexplained, sometimes the nearly intolerable, after they've tasted that, then they can bitch at me on some basis. But they know they hide behind their little speaker TV screens. We'll be right back. You're listening to our Raw Forward Time. The live story played on the from August 22nd, 1995. You're listening to Heartfelt Sobering Time on Premier Radio Networks. Tonight, an encore presentation of Coast to Coast AM from August 22nd, 1995. The board operator at KCMO in Kansas City, this is reference, we got a lot earlier. Somehow, at the beginning of the program, KCMO got a switch in the wrong place or something. It was rock and roll music on there for about 10 minutes, and then they got my show back on again. He called up and said, sorry, it was the wrong switch. Seems that kind of thing happens. So there you are. I will be on KCMO Kansas City during their morning show. I think around 9:30, somewhere in there. So you're in Kansas City and you stay up that late. I'll be on the air. Probably a lot of people listen to KCMO at 9:30 don't even know who I am. Night creature that I be. All right, to the telephones west of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
No, Art, Como and also L.A.
Yes, sir.
In L.A. That situation in Detroit, I don't think is an indictment of society. It's an indictment of the growing urban criminal subculture in every large city. And the story kind of reminds me of a man who was killed during the LA riots here in 1992. His name was Mr. Epstein, and he was actually lynched by a mob.
Reminds me of the story in New York where the woman was stabbed while everybody watched.
Yeah, that was back in the 60s. You know, many people were killed during the April 1992 riots, according to the LA Times, but no one was ever brought to justice. And the Times does it because members of the community, the black community, are protecting these criminals. And I would like to see somebody stir up this pot because people like Mr. Epstein deserve justice.
Well, I absolutely agree with you. And you might even say, how many times now has Rodney King been arrested? But not jailed?
He has an unlimited get out of jail free card.
Yeah. And so it's sort of the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I know the LA Times won't even send reporters into many parts of that city now. And just like that lady who called in earlier said that there's just this huge population that wants what the other half has. And the only thing between them and the other half is the dwindling number of LAPD and sheriff's deputies.
It's the same. Yep, that was a good letter. As a matter of fact, thank you. I can find that letter. I'll reread it. Even now, but yeah, here it is. I'm going to reread this. You people in LA, you'll love this. I already love the show. I'm an ex-wife of an LAPD officer. I can tell you my opinion of the whole O.J. Simpson Mark Furman mess. I believe O.J. did it. And he will get off because of sloppy and or questionable work by LAPD, the coroner's office, crime lab, and prosecution. As for Mark Furman, I know his racism was not only tolerated by LAPD, but sponsored, fostered, and supported by it. Any officer who bucks the status quo won't be able to wear enough bulletproof vests. He or she will pay, most likely with his or her life. Now, I can't hate or outright condemn my ex-husband or his fellow officers, because I've seen how each one goes to war every day for as long as they last. Imagine fighting in Vietnam or Kuwait for 20 years. Those who do make it to retirement have totally altered outlooks than those of us who have led civilian lives. And let us civilians not forget, there's a vast population out there that feels no compulsion to abide by the same laws we automatically obey. We are perceived as the holders of the goods they want, and the police are perceived as the enemy. I'm a civil servant too, but I'm not expected to put my life on the line every day for anybody or everybody else. These officers are expected to do just that. Even their most vocal critics expect total sacrifice on the part of the police with just one 911 phone call, no matter what circumstances led to the call. What is the solution? I have no idea. I find it a pity, though, that Nicole Brown and Ronald Goldman had to die like they did to bring the mess to light. Now, I bet you OJ gets his kid back. There is absolutely no justice here on Earth. Maybe when OJ meets his maker, that's Jam, San Francisco. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi. Hello.
Hello. Star Talk Show?
Yes, it is. Turn your radio off.
Yeah, it's Star Talk Show. Hi. You were soliciting comments earlier about whether this is a quick thing or not.
Right.
Yeah. Well, biblically speaking, and I'm not here to oppose nobody's opinion or nothing, but this is my opinion. Biblically speaking, Jesus said that we were in the last hour, or the last minute of the last hour. I don't think all this is really new. I really think instead that because of our modern technology and stuff, that we're just hearing about it more. But that's not to say that I'm in disagreement with the fact that it's happening. Actually, I'm saying that it's been happening for a long time.
Well, actually, I'm saying I've been doing this talk show for 11 years. During that 11 years, sir, I have had constant modern communications available to me, television, radio, wire services, all of the, with the exception maybe of the internet that's come lately, but otherwise, I've had access to information for 11 years solid, doing a show every night, 5 nights a week.
Right.
This show, and then 6 nights a week otherwise. And I'm telling you that all events are indeed accelerating. It is true.
No, I believe, I didn't say I didn't believe they were accelerating. I'm just saying that these events have been happening on an accelerated basis since that time. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, and it sounds like just like what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. I'm agreeing with you.
I see.
And I wanted to say one more thing. As far as not just children's eyes being glued together and such, but that the one gentleman earlier that commented on Democrats and Republicans, and he made it synonymous with socialism. I don't agree. I think you can be a Democrat and not be a socialist. And I think you can be a Republican and not be a socialist either, or the opposite of.
Well, I happen to agree with that. It's called the Great Middle, and I do agree with that. Here are all those subhuman spectators should have their eyelids super glued together. My dear Arch, what a bunch of BS. Answer this. Did you or did you not say to Mr. Morningstar that I too believe the Earth is alive? Yes, I did say that. What proof do you have? What can you hold in your hands? Silence from Mr. Missouri, Mr. Nuts and Bolts, as I suspect. Not likely, Steve in Santa Barbara. Oh, I know who you are. I said exactly as you quoted me. I, too, believe the earth is alive, and I do. Now, that is not saying that I said the earth is alive. I know this to be a fact. Steve, read your own sentence. I, too, believe the earth is alive. I have a lot of beliefs, but a belief is very different than my stating something as a fact. Do you see that distinction, Steve? I'm not saying something is a fact. I'm not saying it is a scientifically verifiable fact. Believing something, that's a different story. I believe O.J. Simpson is guilty. I don't know it for sure, but I believe it. I generally believe there is a very good chance we are being visited from elsewhere. I believe there is a creator. I don't know any of those things to be absolutely true. Steve, West of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Hi, I'm calling from Fremont, California.
Okay.
KMJ Country.
KMJ, yes.
Yes. At the first of your program, you had a list of 40 ways to destroy the earth.
That's right.
I have one more to add to that list.
What would that be?
Okay, increase the speed limit from 55 to 85.
85 miles per hour?
Right. This would help deplete the ozone. You have more gas. You have more trees, so more people. Take care of the population explosion. It would also help the planet.
More police, more ambulances, more hospital bills.
Right, more coroners. We have to build more hospitals to contain all of the amputees. Great idea, huh?
We would insist that every person who drives a car have a gun in their glove compartment.
At least one.
So that traffic disputes could be settled with more finality.
Right.
All right, well, that's good, ma'am. You're on track. Thank you.
I enjoy your program. Keep it up.
Thank you. All right, I took a spin on your webpage tonight. This is one of the best I've ever found. Myron McLeod and Keith Rowland have done a nice job with it. Keep playing in Peoria. Don. Thank you, Don. I have not been on my own webpage. It's not there. I'll have to do that. Here's yet another entry in the message from another star system. If I were sending it, it would be, quote, could you come over and play? Patricia in Woodstock, Illinois. Could you come over and play? Yeah, but I can't stay that night. Wildcard Line, you're on the air.
Radio Free America.
Well, there's a voice.
Well, I tell you what, it's harder and harder to get through to your program.
Well, I'm glad you're made it.
Well, I'm glad we got to hear from the sociopath in Kansas City. It sounds like he's drinking his midnight cocktail of sour grapefruit and lemon.
Oh, he did sound sour.
Yeah, he's cracks me up. Hey, that Noah's Ark story is quite interesting, especially your caller last night, who seems to know a little about what's going on over there. The sonic read that he was talking about.
That's why I let that call go on for a bit. That was a good call.
Oh yeah, Art. I'm kind of lobby here. I really wanted you to do that on either this show or on Dreamland to have that guy that's doing the research.
I'd love to.
Also about the Ark of the Covenant.
Yep.
That's really fascinating because what do you think would happen if they had literal proof that the Genesis was that far back?
That it all happened as described. Well, I think, first of all, there would be a certain percentage of the population that absolutely would not accept it, no matter what. No matter what. I don't care what kind of scientific proof there would be. They would not accept it because it would spoil everything they believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think that a lot of other people would turn to religion. That a lot of people, percentage-wise, maybe even the majority, would turn to religion.
Don't you think it would be a huge threat for the powers to make that apparent?
Put your hands up!
Yeah, I do. I'll talk to you later.
See you. If they find the ark on Ararat, and they're going to be, the digging is, as we speak, beginning. You tell me what else it could be high up on Ararat. Something, I saw the photographs. It's clearly in the shape of a ship. A very large ship, larger than the Queen Mary. How would that get up on a mountain? I believe the stats I heard quoted the other night on encounters were that it is better than 100,000 to 1. That it is not anything from Mother Nature. That think about that, 100,000 to 1. That Mother Nature could have formed this perfect ship-like object up there on Mount Ararat. Coincidence that it was seen right after the earthquake there on the day the nation of Israel was formed. Boy, that's some coincidence, huh? East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello? That's me.
Yeah, I have a lot of empathy for you with the gentleman who called in and complained about you raising subscription.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, has he ever heard of inflation? You know, I subscribe to Harvard. I pay like $10, $12 a year. New Yorker, I pay like $33 vacation. They've been in business for 100 years. You're trying to put up stuff they know. You know. What I wanted to talk to you about was, you know, the woman in Detroit.
Yes.
33-year-old. You recall the James Yellow Easy in New York City?
I do, yes.
There were at least 40 people. You know, this occurred, in the middle of the morning, too, where a man was beating and raping her in front of a brownstone.
That's right.
And
everybody watched. They all looked out their windows.
They looked out. I think a couple people called, but in New York City, sometimes the police are, a little slow in getting there. But they were so slow that he came back an hour later.
Let me say
and
this.
Killed her, sir.
Let me say this. Then, that many years ago, that story stood out. That story was horrifying and not typical and not something you heard every day. And we were all shocked as hell, and nobody's ever forgotten it. Now, today, this kind of story is becoming routine.
Right. Now, you're on K-Ran. You're in St. Louis.
Yes.
And I have you on most nights. I go to sleep, it's on slow, The people that follow you come on from 6 to 9. They're young people that have been fired from several stations here in St. Louis.
Well, most people in radio, sir, have been fired many times in their career.
But, there's two individuals that their producer, and now this is how I found out about this yesterday morning at 6 o'clock, because I hadn't read any papers over the weekend. Their producer announced it, and then they laugh and make a joke of it. And this Steve and JC that are on here following you on K-Line
made a joke about,
laughed about the woman in Detroit, because their whole show is, they're in their mid to late 20s, and their whole show is just nonsense.
Sort of shock kind of thing.
Yeah, right. It's
hard to imagine anything at all. Thank you for the call. Funny. At all funny about that situation. It is so sad that I worry for all of us. And as I said, the New York City incident, you recall how shocking and awful that was. Today, I can hardly come on the air without hearing about some 5-year-old's eyelids glued shut by daddy. One child who kills another, a lady jumping off a bridge. Mama throwing a baby out of the window, crack mom. I really could go on and on and on. And in other words, what once was shocking and very unusual today is becoming, I guess we're all getting a little numb. And I'm sorry, but it's getting to be the norm.
Thank you for joining us today.